The storm hit this way. It was.
Wait, it came from.
It came in this direction like this.
Yeah.
So, southwest. My blinds are pretty big and they're really tough. They're durable.
Yeah.
But this right one, it didn't fall, but the sides, they detached from the wall.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't flying around. It was just a little loose.
Yeah.
And then when electricity came back, they came and fixed it.
But the wind was coming from the
This
other
way. No,
No, it was coming
from the ocean.
Yeah,
So
this
from
makes sense.
Peniche this way.
Yeah.
It was blowing this way.
Straight in. Yeah. And you had the shutters down.
I had them down.
Yeah. Are those designed to be like storm shutters as well?
These are.
Yeah. Because like you said, it's fairly common that winds will get up to that 100-kilometer-ish hour range, but this was closer to like 200 kind of
Yes.
thing. Yeah. Like,
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I don't know if will be able to hear this sound, but I'll try. So that would be the 28th of January. Storm's name was Kristen.
Yeah.
I'll put it loud.
Which so you
Just
he
click
is
on-
chat. Yeah.
Just click on the one that says 019 and put it close. You'll hear it. It's the dark
That
one.
was 019.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, you can hear the wind.
No, but
I don't know if it'll transfer that well for the
No,
mic.
but it was crazy. It was like, and there was a power failure from 3 a.m.
yeah.
when it started, and well, like I said, fortunately my gate was open,
Yeah.
and I was able to leave to go to work. Picked up a colleague of mine which lives here in Foz.
Yeah.
Also, I work in Caldas,
Yeah.
and it was a crazy ride. It was like we were in the middle of a war zone. It was
It's
crazy.
like, like there's just debris on the road and stuff, and you have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and, we have a viewer that said that they live close by and they're curious what restaurant we're going
Oh,
to.
sorry, I'm
'Cause-
not.
No, it's okay. They were just curious because they want to try the restaurant at some point because they're not far away.
Oh, sorry, you have to.
That said that they live close by. Yeah.
Pedro Pascal. No. No, not even close. I wouldn't mind having his bank account, but no.
But what is the name of the restaurant?
Cais da Praia.
There you go. Cais de Praia.
It basically means pier on the beach.
Yeah.
It's a friend of mine's, and he remembered you from last time.
Did he?
Last
Okay.
time he paid for the bill, so he was happy to see you there. This time I said, that's not happening. He has a, well, it's not something that you would be able to stream from, but he has a really cool bar in Lisbon.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's, well, I won't even say its name, it's not necessary, but it's one of those speakeasy bars.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing. I love it. And the cocktails they make there
Yeah.
are crazy.
And just the camera in there is just a no-go.
I don't believe it would
Yeah.
be. I can ask him, but I don't believe so. He's
Yeah.
from Alcobaça, Manel. Well, Manel, if you want to meet one day, just let me know here on Twitch or whatever, on Discord, and we can meet, of course. Fine by me.
Oh yeah. We're supposed to do a Super Bach Sagres.
We'll go get some more.
Well, I got still half of this one. So I just got
That's-
it side by
okay.
side, double fist.
So Hitch is gonna try Sagres and Superbock. Albeit the Sagres has been open for a couple of minutes, so
The Super Box man.
the
yeah.
Superbock, sorry.
Yeah. Hold up. Hold up. Got palate cleanse. I think I'm Team Superbock for
Right.
this style beer. It's like a cleaner taste, but like I don't always want like I feel like in Southern Europe, they have like this style of beer, and it's always like very light kind of lagers.
Yeah.
But sometimes I want, like a darker, heavier beers like that, and I feel like there's less of those around. Are there like microbreweries around here that
There
kind of
are.
do like there are?
I don't think you remember, and honestly, I don't know if I did, but I made beer during COVID,
Yeah.
and I think you tried it on
Did
our last
I?
stream.
Do you
I still
have
have,
any?
I do, but I don't think it's a good idea. So many years have passed
Yeah, so
that it may not be
skunked a
good
bit,
for us.
Yeah.
So I won't even recommend that.
Yeah.
But it was fun making beer.
Do you think you'll do another batch sometime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and my cousins. So this is like my sister's house over there.
Hmm?
This is my house. On my right or behind me is two of my cousins' houses.
No.
So this works well
family
family
compound,
wise.
Yeah.
It's a family compound, and it works out really well because I need help for some things
Mm.
when I'm alone. So it's always good to have people around.
Yeah.
Now my parents are actually living here with me.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a nice setup for me. I get along really well with them.
Yeah.
My mother, they used to live in Caldas, but she's had some type of neurological disease lately. She's 86. My father's 88. He's doing pretty well, fortunately for an 88-year-old person. They're not here now because he took my mother to physiotherapy. He drives still. You would never notice he's 88 years old. Hopefully, for a long time, I'll continue saying something like that.
Yeah.
Someone's saying this is Sergio's pool. Yeah, last time you did a sunset from here, and I think it got to number 1 in your pools, in the pool
pools,
situation.
beaches,
Yeah.
hot tubs, yeah. We've been around number 1 pools, beaches, hot tubs. I'm always proud when we do it because I'm always just like dirty on a trip, hopping in a pool, and we have to change categories. I feel like, did we change categories here? I feel like I just jumped into my cycling kit. I'm sure it's fine. But sometimes there's like an otter pools, beaches, and hot tubs stream in that category, like the animal otter. And
I would
that's
not
usually
know.
one of the top streamers, which I think is funny because it's usually like, scantily clad women, and then there's an otter.
Oh yeah, the one in at the Vancouver Aquarium.
Is it in Vancouver? I didn't even know it was Canadian otter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like you asked me,
Yeah.
I was born in Canada. I don't know if you remember that. I grew up in Vancouver.
Oh, you. Okay.
I was there till I was 13 years old, and I came to Portugal
Yeah.
and been here since.
When you grew up in Vancouver, were you taught Portuguese by your family?
I was taught Portuguese by my family. I had Portuguese school on Fridays, every Friday night. I just never expected to come to live in Portugal.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's a big move at 13, actually.
It was a big
It's like
move.
you're
It
getting
was-
to teenage years, and you feel Canadian. You're around Canadians,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So
Yeah.
then you move to a very different country.
My eighth grade was a difficult year because
Yeah.
how can I say this? It was the language barrier, and I had never failed a year. And at that time here in Portugal, I was the youngest person in my class.
Yes.
Everyone else was in their 15, 16, 17s, and I was 13.
Yeah.
But I never considered myself to be anything but a rather tough person, so I took it on the lip, and I was I can't say bullied, but I got into a couple of those teenage fights.
Yeah.
But I took care of myself, fortunately. This was before I was in a wheelchair. And actually, when I went to 9th grade, I tell this story a lot because I think it's like one of those turning points. People said, don't go to because here in Portugal, at least in my time, I don't know how it is now, but when you're in high school, 9th grade, you decide what area you want to go into. And I was always really into sports.
Yeah.
I guess the adrenaline rush. And said I'm going into sports, and people said, no, don't do that, they're all bullies and bad guys and we'll be beat up. And I said, I like sports, I'm going. And there was this guy, first couple of weeks of school, never had any problem with anyone. I was walking home from school, and he was on his bike, and he played chicken with me. So he rides his bike directly at me, expecting for me to turn away. Mind you, I was 14, he was in his 16, 17. And I did not move away. I just stopped, put my hands in front, and he had to brake and stop the bike. And I said, "Let me ride your bike home." He said, "Sure." So I rode his bike home and he walked to school. And we were best friends ever since. And so
to this
stand up
day?
for yourself. Well, I don't see him as much now.
Okay, yeah.
But we are still good friends,
Yeah,
and when
okay.
we do see each other, we
Yeah.
speak a lot.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a city, so I see
Yeah.
people often, and I see many people from my high school years
Yeah.
often. And we get along fine, yeah, it's really fun.
How long did it take for you to feel like you were like acclimated? You felt like you were like part of Portuguese culture moving from Canada, if that could be defined.
Well, it can. I mean, the first years I did feel more Canadian than
Yeah,
Portuguese.
which makes sense. You grew up there.
Yeah. When I got to Portugal, one thing that has a very strong Portuguese identity is football, which
Yeah.
many of you know as soccer.
Yep.
And I said, "Well, this is nothing to me. What is this?" And I didn't even have a team. So people were saying, "You have to go to Sporting, you have to go to Benfica, you have to go to Porto, whatever." I said, "Well, I'll probably choose one, but I have no idea why and how." And I did choose. I chose probably the most difficult team to choose here in this area. I chose Porto,
Yeah.
and they're more from people from up north.
Mm.
But it's the team that I identified most with.
What
And
made you identify most with them over the other teams? Because I'm always interested when people like choose a team. If it's like your local hometown team, that makes sense. But if it's not like directly
I
your
understand
home,
that. Yeah, it's a good question.
why?
Okay, first of all, one of my uncles,
Yeah.
he was here last time when you were here.
Yeah.
He had an operation. That's why you didn't sleep inside. You had to sleep outside.
Yeah.
Because he had a cataract operation.
Mm-hmm.
So he was here. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 years ago. And he was Porto. He actually played in Porto.
Really?
And well, I can't say that it was only him influencing, but it had a lot to do with it. And then at that time, and I'm speaking about '86, in '87, they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Then they won an epic game in Japan in a fully snowed up field in the middle of the night.
Mm.
And I guess that just turned me to them because of the way. I know there are a lot of people who would say otherwise, but they're one of those teams that have the grit, that have that. All teams do, and I love Sporting. My family is all Sporting.
Yeah.
I have many friends who are Benfica. I'm not into rivalries. I get along with everyone.
Yeah.
But well, for me, it's Porto.
Okay.
And that was one thing that helped me start to identify more with Portugal. Learning Portuguese and being able to maintain a conversation properly in Portuguese was not easy at the beginning.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And sometimes even now, if I'm speaking English and someone speaks Portuguese, it's like I have to switch a little chip in my head for me to understand they're speaking Portuguese, and vice versa.
What is your so what language do you think in?
English.
English, yeah.
And I count in English.
Yeah.
The other day, this was interesting. I received a phone call from a physical therapist that wanted she's finishing her master's, and she wanted to speak with people who had certain types of criteria, and I was one of those people. And she asked me a couple of things. Those things were to say the months of the year backwards and count from 20 to 0 backwards.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, yeah, can you do that?" And I said, "Yeah. Do you want me to?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "How am I going to do this in Portuguese?" Because
your brain thinks
when
of
I
it,
I count in English.
Yeah.
But I was able to in Portuguese. It's not that difficult, but I had to think a lot harder.
Yeah.
But normally my go-to language now, obviously, is Portuguese.
For like work and life and
For
everything.
everything, yes. I speak a lot of English with my sister,
Yeah.
with my nephew and my niece.
Yeah.
Because they went to international schools, and my sister works in an international school.
Yeah.
So, like me and my sister, we switch between Portuguese and English seamlessly.
Yeah. Okay. So, because you're kind of an international family in that case, do a lot of the children in your family end up going to international school because they want you to kind of be like...
My niece and the nephew, they went to the international school where my sister worked, they're now in university. My niece is, she finished her bachelor in computer engineering. She's in her master's now, something to do with entrepreneurship and AI. She actually used her knowledge about my situation, and they're developing a wheelchair cushion with a bunch of sensors in them that could help alleviate pressure in some situations. It's really interesting. I liked her work. And my nephew, he's in, I know I have to think in Portuguese, Engenharia de Gestão Industrial. So, industrial engineering management, something like that. I don't know if I'm translating it properly. How does Hitch know Pedro Pascal?
You've had that a couple times. That's not the worst person to be compared to.
Thank you very much. Like I said, I wouldn't mind having his bank account or his life. I wouldn't mind that either. But I'm happy with mine, fortunately.
I like, and I don't know the dynamics, but I like this like family dynamic area that you've set up here. It, without knowing how it works interpersonally, it's just like, it's nice that you guys are all close and connected.
We are. During COVID, my sister wasn't living here yet, so when you came here last time, she wasn't living here. And she had a house in Caldas, but she was doing everything she could to move over here. But me and my, you have a spider web on your glasses.
Oh, so I do. How'd you get there? You were just in the pool. I was in the pool. All right, continue.
Well, me and my cousins live over here. Every day, we'd go to the wall and have a couple of shots. Every single day, vodka, rum, whatever.
We'd go to the wall.
This wall over here. How do you say this one over here?
The fence.
The fence. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah.
The fence. We'd be on the fence, talk with each other a bit, keep our distance, but have a shot or two or three. And just connect, because it was a time where I was working from home. And I had a lot of work. I work in human resources.
Okay.
And at that time, a lot of people were losing their jobs. So what I felt that I had to step up, and I did, and I'm pretty proud of what I did, to help people get their social benefits, their unemployment insurance and things like that. So it helped me also, but I worked from morning till 11 at night every day, just to get my mind off things. A lot of people said, oh, during COVID I watched TV, I did this, I did that. I worked, and I'm proud of what I did. So,
because for a lot of people it was like forced holiday, for better or worse, and for other people it's like showtime, like you have to work a ton, like hospitals and stuff were just like
exactly. Well, I can't compare what I did. My
former partner was just like, she worked in a hospital. She wasn't like a nurse or anything like that, but like she saw the effects of how overworked everyone was and how crazy it was in like the ORs and stuff like that. So it was this interesting contrast of so many people couldn't work because like the world shut down, and other people worked more than they ever had in their freaking life.
That's true. But well, it's a comfortable job. You do a lot, but there are times when you need to step up, and fortunately, our whole team did, and I'm really proud of them. Sarah, I read your. I haven't been on Discord a lot. I read your situation on Discord. We're not even going to speak about that, but she passed by. But I did not notice until she was already in Lisbon. I'm really sorry I missed her, because it would have been nice. I already had my bike, so I would have loved to try and do a tour with her. But, well, you're here now, so my dream
I'm back again.
It was like
no, Sarah would have liked that, and then everything he did for me, I'm sure Sarah would like too. But it's interesting because, so say with Sarah, I approach the world, or I can approach the world in a very different way than Sarah can. Like, when someone pops up in her chat, it's just like, hey, would you like to do this and this and this together? She can't always just be like, sure, why not? And that doesn't mean the people offering that there's any bad intention. I'm sure almost every single person of them